What's up, guys? I want to talk to you about how I bought my first rental property, a duplex in St. Louis, when I was 25 years old, and how you guys can do the exact same thing. It doesn't matter if you're 25, 35, 45, 55, it doesn't matter. I want to share with you how I did this, some of the lessons that I've been able to pick up, why I think it's a good idea to invest in real estate, why if it's based on your situation, why it might be a bad idea for you to invest in real estate. So I just want to kind of dump everything all the learnings that I've had, at least that come to mind to me right now in this video, and give you guys as much of a leg up as possible so that if you're considering buying some real estate, you have a more accurate plan from someone who's actually done this. And again, I'm 26 years old right now. I bought this property. I'm almost 27 right now. I bought this property almost 2 years ago. But it's a property in St. Louis. It's a duplex. I bought it for $80,000. I put an offer on it initially for $75,000. They countered back at $80,000, and I accepted it. So, I don't even know where to begin. There's just so much that comes with being a property owner and, investing in real estate that I guess I'm just going to try to break this down step by step. So, the most common question that people have when it comes to buying real estate is, where do I get the money to do this? And in my case, I had $30, $40, $50,000. I forget exactly how much I had, but I had a lot of cash just sitting on the sidelines that I've been waiting to deploy for a long time. And the reason I had that, and I can talk about this in another video, the reason I have that is in part because I have a good job where I'm making over $100,000 a year. I have other, revenue streams as well, to where I contract with other businesses and help them out too. And, I have a decent income. And on top of that, I've decided to live with my parents for the past, handful of years. And that's allowed me to save a lot of money and be able to put myself in a advantageous position financially, right? I would suggest any young person to live with their parents for as long as you possibly can. Like, dude, just ignore the stigma. You're going to get made fun of. That's great. The people who are making fun of you are broke. So people might be telling you to, why don't you have an apartment? Why don't you have any of this other kind of stuff? But at the end of the day, they're not going to be the ones to pay for it. So what I would suggest you guys to do, especially, it doesn't really matter how old you are, move back in with your parents if you can. Or if you can't do that, go get a shitty apartment for $500 a month, $1,000 a month. Depends on where you live. But, downgrade your lifestyle. You don't need to have so much drag, so many expenses, so much bullshit to pay for. That's only going to keep you poor, right? It's all this stuff you guys see on Instagram, that's all bullshit. And I can tell you that as someone who's met a lot of very successful people and a whole lot of other people that act successful that are not. And most of them are all broke, and most of them are all trying to act like they're rich, and that you're just this peasant because you don't have a lifestyle like them. So that's my first piece of advice. I would suggest that everybody, if you're looking to buy real estate or invest into other crypto, index funds, other stuff like that, if you're looking to become an investor and put your money to work for you, you have to save money and you have to earn a lot more than what you spend every single month, right? Super, super basic stuff, guys. You have to make more than you spend. That's all there is to it. So move back in with your parents. That's what I did. And I stayed with it. I still live with my parents. I have a great relationship with my mom and my dad. I hang out with them all the time, and, it's not a big deal to me, right? In addition to that, I have a long distance relationship with my girlfriend. She's probably going to move up here at some point. We'll get our own place when that happens. But, I'm 26 years old, man. I don't have anything to prove, and nobody expects you to have money when you're 26 years old. So my thought process has always been, dude, I'm just going to ride this as hard as I possibly can. And, when I'm ready to get an apartment, then I can do so responsibly, or a house, right? So that's what I did. And I had a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines. And when I saw this deal, it was a good deal that popped up, I bought it, right? I put an offer on it. You have to go get a realtor and have them put an offer on it. You actually don't have to get a realtor. You can do something called dual agency, to where you can just contact the listing agent and have them work directly with you, and you don't have to get a realtor. It's an easy way to kind of get a leg up when it comes to making offers, because that agent who's listing it, they'll now be the seller and the buyer's realtor. So they get double the commission. It's called dual agency. I would highly suggest you guys do that, because it's, I mean, who do you think the agent is going to want to work with? The guy who's going to make them more money, or the guy who's only going to give them half the commission? So kind of like a pro tip there. I would always suggest doing that. But at the time, I didn't know that. So I had my own realtor. And we put an offer on the place, went under contract. I got my inspections done, and everything turned out to be pretty good. And ended up buying it, closing on it. And the very first thing that I did was I renovated the downstairs unit, because again, this is a duplex and it's an upstairs downstairs model. And I renovated the downstairs unit because the downstairs is only a 1-bedroom. So, but it had a very large living room that I converted into a 2nd bedroom. So by me doing that instantly, I probably increased the value of that property by, $20,000 at least, just by me turning the bottom unit into a 2-bedroom, right? The top unit was a 2-bedroom as well. So now it's a 2 and 2, which is much more valuable than a 2 and 1. Does that make sense? So anyway, so I bought that, made that renovation, had some mistakes with the renovation. The guy that I used kind of fucked it up. I had to get another guy to do it, and eventually got that done and rented out both units. And one thing that I did renting out both units was I went after people who were on low income subsidies like Section 8. That's kind of been my bread and butter with other properties that I have. I have right now, at the time of making this video, I have 6 properties. Almost every single one of those properties are renting to lower income tenants who have the government pay their rent for them, right? That's better. That's a much better tenant in a lot of different ways. And, I can make a whole new video about that and how you guys can navigate that if you'd like for me to do it. But long story short, the government's paying you, not the tenant. So you don't have to worry about rent being late. You don't have to worry about excuses. You don't have to worry about delays. You don't have to worry about any of that. And one of the other benefits of having Section 8 tenants is the tenant will have what's called a Section 8 voucher, and that's a federal program. And it's very difficult for tenants to be able to get that voucher, right? So whenever they get that, they don't want to lose that, is my point. So if they fuck up your property and they, trash the place, they do all kinds of damage to the place, you can just call their case manager, which is basically like their counselor for Section 8 program, and you can let them know, hey, your person just destroyed my property, okay? I need you to let them know that they need to fix this. Otherwise, we're going to have to, evict them. This will be a strike on their record, and they're probably going to get kicked off the program. And no joke, every single time I've had to do that, it puts the fear of God into people, because they go and let that person know, and they'll solve whatever, usually, and they'll solve the problem that they created, right? Because they don't want to lose that program. It's paying for all their rent. Most of them can't survive without that subsidy. So it's something that they have to have. So you kind of have that leverage over them. Not that you're manipulating anybody or anything, but it's good to have leverage with your tenants so that they don't take advantage of you, right? And by me being able to put these tenants on Section 8, or rather me, bringing in tenants that are already on Section 8, I'm able to guarantee less problems with those units because they don't want to lose their voucher. And in addition to that, there's also something called Section 8 FMR, which is, it's actually HUD FMR. If you want to type in HUD FMR into Google, you can go to a website where it'll show you all of what's called the payment standard for your county. So if I look in St. Louis County, and a county where I like to do a lot of investing, then I can see exactly how much Section 8 will pay for those units in that county based on bedroom count. So if I have a 3-bedroom house in St. Louis County, I can look up on HUD FMR and see, around about what the program will pay for that type of unit if they're on Section 8. So it's a very helpful tool in terms of figuring out how much you can charge these tenants, or rather the government, because you have that right there and you can do your numbers better beforehand. But one of the primary benefits as to why I like to do Section 8 is because you can charge more per unit because it's a federal program and the government wants to incentivize landlords to rent to these lower income tenants as opposed to, you know, Johnny down the road who's got a, you know, 720 credit score and makes $100,000 a year, right? They want to incentivize people to work with these lower income, you know, people, because if they didn't have some kind of incentive, then you wouldn't want to do that, right? If just option A versus option B, you'd probably choose the quote unquote safer person every single day. So they want to give you more of an incentive to rent to these people, which is, you know, in the form of paying you more than what they would normally get for that unit. So I rented both of these units, and you know, it's been great. I mean, I've had some issues. I had a big sewer issue that popped up about 6-9 months ago. Had to pay a lot of money out of pocket for that. That was a huge mistake. Kind of a quick pro tip: whenever you're getting your inspections done, I would always make sure to get your sewer scoped. It's usually like $200 extra if you're getting an inspection done on a property, and that's going to give you an idea like what the pipes look like. I had I forget what the pipes were made out of. I think it was like ceramic or something, but they were like 100+ years old. And 9 months ago, they just basically like collapsed, and it ended up costing me like $15,000, which fortunately I was able to pay, but it was a huge, huge expense that came up that I would have not have to pay for had I got the sewer scope done. So that's another little word of wisdom that I would suggest anybody listen to if they were gonna, you know, buy a property like this. So especially if it's an older property, like my property was over 100 years old. I still have it to this day. It's been great. It cash flows about, you know, $1,200-$1,300 a month, which is phenomenal. My total rent on it is about $1,800 a month, and my payment on that is including escrow, so my taxes, insurance, mortgage, everything that comes along with that. My entire payment is like $525. So it's been a phenomenal deal. Over $1,300 in cash flow just from, you know, this one deal, which is fantastic. So, and that's allowed me to go and reinvest into other properties as well and continue to build up that tidal wave of passive income that everybody's so interested in. And it's pretty nice, but I definitely wouldn't call real estate completely passive. You're going to have problems. You're going to have headaches, but as long as you're able to, you know, put together some systems in place for, you know, how to deal with those problems, then you should be in a much better position. But yeah, that's kind of the quick overview as to how I brought this property and, you know, what I'm doing with it today. I'm just cash flowing it and holding on to it for a little while. And yeah, if you guys would like for me to make a more in-depth video and like some suggestions and some bullet points as to exactly how you can do all this and just go into a lot more detail, then let me know in the comments. I'd love to put something like that together. You know, in this video, I'm just kind of telling my story, and, you know, hopefully this is able to be of service to somebody and help you guys out. If you're thinking about buying some real estate, I would highly suggest it. So anyway, guys, hope this helps you guys out. Peace.